I think a really big deal is not fouling. Just not fouling. They got extra points on putbacks, and there wasn't a lot of transition in the game. I thought the score would be somewhere in the low 60s, but we have to clean up these starts of. We have to clean up the starts of the second half. Again, we lost 7-0, and the ball started to get heavy in our hands. And you could see a little bit of doubt and question. Tay hit a big three. Langston hit a big three. Another big three. Tay took a nut three. Got to be out of your mind to take that shot. Terrific attention to detail on certainly on everybody but Christian. He's a wonderful young player, and scored the ball too easily.
Phil, how important was this win, considering the start you had in the A-10 and the tough game the other night, and you're trailing in this second half after giving up the first 9 points? How important for the team?
It's only important if Monday we're better than we were today. That's the only thing that makes it important. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind saying it was a tough game. We basically didn't show up for 15 minutes and then tried to win a game. And even then, we didn't fully commit to winning a game on Wednesday night. So we let down, that wonderful student section, who again helped pull us through here, stayed with it. The adults in the crowd are like anybody else. They're getting nervous, and but those students stayed with it and pulled us through when we really needed it.
Are there times when you wonder if some of your guys freelance too much? Like CJ comes out from the perimeter and sees like
That's where he plays. It's not freelance. That's where he plays. He's like anybody that comes to a game or comes to a practice and thinks CJ is going to suddenly throw his back to the basket. You haven't been paying attention. He's not a low post player. He's not comfortable in the low post, and we're trying to do some flash things with him, but it's hard for him. It's really, really hard. So really, he has to play small forward on offense, and he has to play center on defense.
Is that tough for you, seeing that kind of height, but the fact that he is more comfortable?
He's mine. You know what I mean? Like, I've been telling people that since Wednesday night, and I'm going to include everybody, including my wife. And she'll say, well, what about this, and what about that guy, and this guy did this, and that guy did that. And it's all, everybody's trying to be helpful. But at the end of the day, they're mine. I asked them to come to school here. They accepted my invitation to play for me. And so, you know what? We'd all like to take a 10 to the prom. And sometimes you got to take, a great personality. And that's what's going on here. Look, we could sit and I'll take you through roster by roster. You want to go over every guy's flaws? I'll tell you every guy's flaws. And does it keep me up at night, and does it churn my stomach during the games that they're flawed? Yeah, it does. But they're mine. You know what I mean? I had a recommendation the other day that I should cut 2 guys. Like, who in the world in a college team cuts a guy? But that was a recommendation from a person who really cares. A person who really, truly cares. Why? They're mine. I have to do more of them. So it's not, you know what I mean? Like CJ is, that's what he is. That's what he is. You know what I mean? Like, here, he's going to get complimented on Monday. As I went to shake hands with Chris Mack, I glanced back on the court, and CJ was actually clapping. So it actually meant something to him. And there are people that leave here and say, does it mean anything? Well, I know who he is. And that's his game. I wish we could throw it inside and he could jump hook right and left. I wish the work paid off, but it doesn't.
So I know you're saying it only helps if you get the Monday and you improve and everything. But a game like this, how about for the team's confidence? Because things have been difficult.
Well, it all depends. If if they've been beaten up, and they have by the outside, they haven't been beat up. Like, I would challenge any one of them to say, have you been hollered at? Has Coach lost it on you? That kind of thing. So, look, the wins are for the players. The wins are for the players. For the coaches, to be honest with you, winning beats the alternative. That's exactly the way I feel. So I'm going to go home, have a nice salad, I'll sit down, I'll do our 6-game totals, I'll do my Fordham stuff, and then I'll put it aside. That'll be it. And then I won't sleep tonight. Whether we had won or lost, I know I'm not going to sleep. Tomorrow I'll get up, I'll go to church, I'll go recruiting. Tomorrow night I'll be up all night watching film. So, is this a statement? No, it's not a statement. Wednesday wasn't a statement. Do you know what I mean? Like, Wednesday, people could have walked out of here and said, well, that's a statement. This team gave up. So, I don't see it that way, Mark. I just see it as it was an opportunity to compete, and we were fortunate to be the home team and to finish on a, whatever that was, 14-0 run or something? 12.
But you're in a league where you can't drop too far back. I mean,
no, but we've already done that. Like, we show them the standings. We show them the standings in every scouting report. So if the Atlantic 10 tournament started today, we'd be collecting uniforms. We wouldn't be in. They know that. So now you get a win. We'll see what I don't know what it shakes out to. It may not shake out to be much different because of some of the scores that I heard. So I agree with you. What we want to do is we want to get to the halfway point, 8 games. And at 8 games in all leagues, you decide, are you real or are you fake? I still don't know that. We'll know what our record is at 8 games.
You talked about the fact that you know all of your players. You know their flaws. You know their strengths. Do you think that sometimes that knowledge you have, in a sense that other people maybe don't see the big picture the way you do, in a sense where you got a lot of praise before the season for the guys you had coming back. Do you think maybe that gets lost sometimes in translation?
Absolutely. I think there's a couple things. I don't think anybody, to be honest with you, you could be as close as a family member. Nobody knows what I've always used the word idiosyncrasies. Their game idiosyncrasies, their character idiosyncrasies. Nobody knows those. Nobody. And nobody knows their game. And, so when people say, well, isn't this guy one of the 15 best players in the league? I don't know. Do you think his play warrants that he be considered one of the 15 best players in the league? I'll tell you one thing. I told our players in the scouting report, Christian, even though he's a freshman, is one of the 15 best players in the league, and that doesn't change after watching him up close and personal. But you're absolutely right. That the big picture, because people aren't involved like every day, that's not knocking anybody. It's the nature of a family member. You know what I mean? It's the nature of a fan. It's the nature of a family member, and the expectation. Like, at no point in our preparation did we say, "Listen, Xavier was preseason, whatever they were, 8th, 9th, 10th, I don't know." And we're number one, and we have to play to that, and we got to tighten up, and it's just not what we thought about or ever discussed.
So you thought the defense was going to be key tonight. In the last 4 minutes, you helped me out a point. The one turnover and kind of threw it to you guys. But what did you do well during that last 4-minute stretch?
I thought we competed a little bit harder. Excuse me. I mean, it was a hard compete game. Everybody gave everything that they had. But I thought that one of the things that we were able to do, Aaron, was we were able to get Christian to not be able to go straight to the basket. And there's an idiosyncrasy. Langston is as beautiful a person as you can be. But because the ball didn't go in the second half, he didn't concentrate as much defensively. And the kid had his way with him for a while. And then we kind of strung it out. I thought Halil, Ron, and CJ really did a nice job of making him go sideline to sideline, and then make it be a tough shot. And then I go back to that idea. We didn't foul. We just didn't foul.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, Daniel. Here's scores and the